The 8 men who died in the Longhope lifeboat Calamity include been and inspire for 50 year, on to John Shift. I was just 18 later, so they were an sample for us to dwell on, says Mr. Shift, who by himself serviced as a lifeboat team term for 39 year and is the present plant officer at Brims, the Orkney plant wherever the ship was relying on a private mention. Their force has helping me via my age lifetime, he told. The Longhope lifeboat TGB capsized on March 17, 1969, following installation out deceased in the night of Hoy in Orkney, to assist the Liberia goods vessel Irina, that was downstream in a brutal tempest. The TGB, a 47FOOT, 14METER, Watson-class lifeboat built of timber, set off in facility of close zero appearance. A strength 9 storm, linked in a springtime tidal, led to wave propagation 60FOOT, 18METER, top. The lifeboat is believed to include been inverted by a WIM wavelength, perhaps 100FOOT, top. The lifeboat was found at the next day by Thusso's lifeboat. Not one on executive board kept. While the ship was restored, the bodies of all but one of the team were within the housing. The helmsman was yet at the steering wheel. The flesh of James Swanson was never found. 2115, Irina Perspectives, achieved by Coast Guard teams. 2128, recent wireless alarm of TGB. 2130, TGB is seen polar of Pentland Skerries beacon by the main beacon holder. 2135, holder sees TGB's harsh lighting on a me off to the east. 2200, TGB fails to answer to a wireless communication. 130, all Irina's team reliably driven onshore. 140, Thusso lifeboat team place inverted housing of TGB, 4 persons miles SW of Tor Cape. Towed to Scrabster Harbor by Thusso lifeboat. Angus Heddle and Geordie Taylor both of helping start TGB on its definitive cry. Angus told Observer, the ship departure out the bay. Malcolm Mackay and me was the recent to keep the barn, and we were stood in the lee of the barn. We stood down there before we could see no more then. We went household and heard on the wireless. Down there was no alarm, it was fair corpse. Geordie told, in the night down there was yet anything. On lunchtime it came above how the ship had been found potential downward. It fair floored the entire isle. You fair couldn't trust it. They'd been out on lot a savage overnight and ever came behind. Following it initially happened all seemed to manure along and the boys got else lifeboat. It was thing how was never departure out of your reason. Helmsman Daniel Kirkpatrick, 59, other helmsman James Jimmy Johnston, 30, rifleman Daniel R. Kirkpatrick, 32, technician Robert Johnston, 62, aide technician James Jimmy Swanson, 59. His flesh was never found. Team term Robert Robbie Johnston, 27, team term John T. Kirkpatrick, 27, team term Eric McFadden, 24, on May 22, 1970, the Hilton Briggs became operative on Hoy in a new team. An investigation in the losing of TGB found how all required safety regulations and procedures had been undertaken by RNLI and the Coast Guard. The investigation set out how TGB had capsized following creature suppressed by really top seas and vortex facility. The losing of TGB led to the growth of personality riding lifeboats. John Shift told he has frequently mind of the men who set out on the Longhope lifeboat 50 year back. The at first times how we start up of Brims following the ship went behind in the slide. I can recall me fleeting by the rooftop shaft and looking at the rooftop shaft and thought how was the recent portion of household those men cut, departure by how shaft, and I utilized to tremble when I went downward down there, he told. You'll never overlook the honor we had for them all, never always.